Welcome back to Language Unlocked, your go-to podcast for mastering new languages and truly connecting with global cultures. Today, we're diving deep into something many of you have asked about, improving your English language skills. We've got a fantastic conversation lined up, drawing insights from native English speakers themselves, sharing their tried and true tips, personal experiences, and invaluable advice. It's about getting past the textbooks and really understanding how to make English a natural part of your life. So, for anyone feeling stuck or just looking to elevate their fluency, you're in the right place. To kick things off, I'm really curious, what's one of the biggest misconceptions people have when they start learning English, especially about what it takes to become truly proficient?
That's such a great question to start with. I think one of the biggest misconceptions, and honestly, it's a huge hurdle for many, is that you need to be perfect before you can even begin to speak confidently. People often feel like every single word needs to be grammatically flawless, or their accent has to disappear entirely, or they need an expansive vocabulary right from day one. And that's just not how language acquisition works, you know? It creates this immense pressure and often leads to what we call analysis paralysis, where you're so worried about making a mistake that you just don't speak at all. From my perspective, as a native speaker, we make mistakes all the time. We use slang, we interrupt ourselves, we might even say like 100 times in a sentence. The key isn't perfection, it's communication. It's about being understood and understanding others. Embracing imperfections and just getting started is probably the most crucial first step.
That's so true, and it really shifts the focus from being right to connecting. So, building on that, if someone is past that initial fear and they're ready to really immerse themselves, what would be your top tip for active listening? I mean, beyond just passively hearing things, how can learners really train their ears to pick up on the nuances of spoken English?
Absolutely. Active listening is transformative. My number one tip for active listening is to ditch the subtitles as much as you can, at least the ones in your native language. Start with content you genuinely enjoy, whether it's a TV show, a podcast, or even music. If you're watching a show, try turning on English subtitles if you need them at first, but then challenge yourself to turn them off completely. Don't worry if you miss a few words. Focus on the overall gist, the emotion, the body language. When it comes to podcasts, choose a topic you're passionate about: cooking, history, true crime, whatever. Listen for specific phrases, how intonation changes meaning, and pay attention to connected speech where words blend together. You know, things like gonna instead of going to, or wanna for want to. Don't just hear the words, listen to how they flow together. Try to imitate short phrases you hear. It's almost like shadowing, really focusing on the rhythm and stress of native speakers. That's how you train your ear beyond just individual words.
That's a fantastic strategy, moving from general comprehension to really dissecting the sound of the language. Now, listening is one thing, but speaking is often where the real anxiety kicks in. For those who are shy or just don't have many opportunities for direct conversation, what are some creative ways they can practice speaking and build that confidence?
Oh, speaking practice, the holy grail. First, let's address the fear. Everyone's been there. Even native speakers get nervous public speaking. So accept it, but don't let it stop you. One of the most underrated methods, especially if you don't have a conversation partner immediately available, is talking to yourself. Seriously. Narrate your day. As you're making coffee, describe what you're doing in English. I'm pouring the water. I'm waiting for it to boil. If you're walking, describe what you see. That's a red car. The trees are green. Another great technique is recording yourself. Use your phone's voice recorder. Pick a topic, talk for a minute or two, and then listen back. You'll catch your own pronunciation issues, identify areas where you hesitate, and hear where you might need more vocabulary. It's a low-stakes way to get comfortable with the sound of your own voice speaking English. And if you can find a language exchange partner online, even for 15 minutes a week, that's incredibly valuable. But don't underestimate the power of simply speaking English out loud to yourself. It builds muscle memory in your mouth and brain.
Those are such practical, actionable tips that anyone can start doing right away. So we've covered listening and speaking. Let's talk about vocabulary and grammar, which can sometimes feel like an endless mountain. How do native speakers naturally expand their vocabulary? And what's your advice for learning grammar in a way that feels intuitive rather than just rote memorization?
That's the trick, isn't it? For vocabulary, native speakers don't usually sit down with a dictionary and memorize lists. We pick it up in context. My advice for learners is to do the same. When you encounter a new word, don't just look it up and move on. Notice how it's used in the sentence. What other words does it go with? Is it positive or negative? For example, if you learn serene, also try to learn phrases like serene lake or serene expression. Create flashcards, but make sure they're not just word-to-word translations. On one side, have the English word. On the other, have its definition in English, a synonym or antonym, and a sentence using it. That helps build connections. For grammar, it's very similar. Instead of just memorizing rules, try to notice patterns. When you're listening or reading, pay attention to how sentences are structured. Why is I have gone used here, but I went there? Often, you'll start to intuitively grasp the feel of correct grammar by seeing and hearing it used correctly repeatedly. Then, you can look up a rule to confirm your intuition, rather than trying to force-feed it. Think of it like a puzzle where the pieces eventually fit, rather than just being told where each piece goes. Immerse yourself in authentic materials and let your brain start to pick up those patterns organically.
That makes so much sense. It's about active observation rather than passive intake. Beyond listening and speaking, reading and writing are also vital for holistic language development. What kind of reading materials do you recommend for different levels, and how can learners effectively practice writing without feeling overwhelmed?
That's such a great question to start with. For reading, absolutely start with what you enjoy. If you're a beginner, try graded readers, which are books specifically designed for English learners with controlled vocabulary and grammar. Don't jump straight into Shakespeare. As you progress, move to short stories, articles online about your hobbies, or even blog posts. The key is to find something that's slightly challenging but not so difficult that you give up. Don't stop every 2 seconds to look up a word. Try to infer meaning from context. For writing, start small. Begin with journaling, just a few sentences a day about your thoughts or what you did. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's about getting ideas onto paper in English. You could also try summarizing something you've read or watched. Take an article and try to write a 2-sentence summary. Or find online forums or communities about your interests and participate by writing comments or asking questions. The important thing is to make writing a regular practice, even if it's just for 5 minutes a day. The more you produce, the more comfortable you'll become expressing yourself.
Fantastic advice for both reading and writing. Before we wrap up, I think it's crucial to touch upon the mindset. Learning a language, especially English, is a marathon, not a sprint. What's your final piece of advice on maintaining motivation and staying consistent over the long haul?
You hit the nail on the head. It is absolutely a marathon. My final piece of advice is twofold. First, be kind to yourself. There will be days when you feel like you're not making progress or you make a silly mistake. That's perfectly normal. Don't let those moments derail your entire journey. Acknowledge it, learn from it, and move on. And second, celebrate every single win, no matter how small. Did you understand a joke in a TV show without subtitles? That's a win. Did you successfully order food in English? That's a win. Did you use a new vocabulary word correctly in a sentence? Celebrate it. Those little victories build momentum and keep your motivation high. Consistency, even if it's just 15 to 20 minutes a day, is far more effective than sporadic, hours-long study sessions. Make English a part of your daily routine in a fun, engaging way. And remember your why. Why are you learning English? Keep that reason in mind and let it fuel your journey. You've got this.
That's such a powerful message to end on. Patience, self-compassion, and celebrating those small yet significant achievements. What an insightful conversation filled with truly practical and encouraging advice. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences and expertise with us today. To all our listeners, we hope these tips from a native English speaker will inspire you to take your English skills to the next level. Remember, it's about the journey, not just the destination. Keep practicing, keep exploring, and keep connecting. Join us next time on Language Unlocked for more fascinating insights into the world of language learning. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the show. Today, we're diving into a topic that I know resonates with so many of you, making English conversations, especially real-life ones, feel easy and natural. It's a goal for a lot of language learners, and often it feels a bit daunting, doesn't it? But we're here to tell you that it's absolutely achievable. We're going to break down some of the biggest hurdles and share really practical, actionable tips that you can start using right away to boost your confidence and fluency in everyday English interactions. Whether you're ordering coffee, meeting new people, or just trying to chat about your day, we want to help you feel more comfortable and genuinely enjoy those conversations. So let's get into it and unlock the secrets to smoother, more confident, real-life English communication.
Absolutely. You know, the biggest hurdle for many isn't a lack of vocabulary, but the fear of making mistakes. That internal voice saying, "What if I sound silly?" can be really paralyzing. But here's the thing, communication is about connection, not perfection. Most native speakers appreciate the effort and are very patient. They're not judging your grammar, they're trying to understand you. So really, the first step is to just let go of that fear. Shift your mindset from "I must speak perfectly" to "I want to connect," and you'll feel a huge difference.
That's such a powerful reframe. Focusing on connection over perfection, it really takes the pressure off. So building on that, once we've embraced that mindset, where do we actually begin with practical strategies? What are some simple ways to initiate or engage in a real-life conversation, especially when you feel like you only know basic phrases?
Great question. This is where small talk becomes your best friend. It's the social glue. Don't underestimate its power. Start with low-stakes topics. The weather is a classic. "It's a beautiful day, isn't it?" Or comment on your surroundings. "This coffee shop has a great vibe." Another fantastic strategy is open-ended questions, like "How's your day going so far?" or "Did you have a good weekend?" These invite more than a yes or no and help the conversation flow naturally. Remember, it's about dialogue, not monologue.
I love the idea of using small talk as social glue. It makes it sound much less intimidating. And asking open-ended questions is definitely a game changer. But what about the other side of the coin? Once the conversation starts, how do we make sure we're really engaging and understanding and not just waiting for our turn to speak?
That's where active listening comes in, and it's vital. It's not just about hearing, it's about truly understanding and showing engagement. Make eye contact, nod, use affirmations like "uh-huh" or "I see." Then, crucially, ask follow-up questions based on what they just said. For example, if someone says, "I spent my weekend hiking," you could ask, "Oh, that sounds fun. Where did you go?" This shows you listened, you're interested, and it keeps the conversation moving forward. It's a tennis match. You hit the ball back.
That tennis analogy is perfect. It really illustrates the back and forth dynamic. So we've talked about starting conversations and engaging actively. Now, how do we level up? How do we expand beyond those basic phrases and really start to express ourselves more fully and fluently?
Excellent question. To expand, first focus on chunking. Learn common phrases like "that's a good idea," not just individual words. This makes your speech more natural. Second, immerse yourself in English media, TV shows, podcasts. Actively notice new phrases and intonation. Shadowing is great. Listen and repeat aloud, mimicking the speaker's rhythm. Third, make vocabulary practical. Focus on words for your interests or daily life. Use them in sentences right away. Finally, embrace mistakes. Every fluent speaker makes them. They are learning opportunities. Nobody expects perfection, and your effort to communicate is always appreciated.
Those are incredibly practical tips, especially the chunking and shadowing, and the reminder about embracing mistakes is so important for confidence. Can you give us a quick example of a common real-life scenario, maybe one that feels a bit intimidating, and walk us through some phrases we could use to navigate it more smoothly?
Certainly. Let's take ordering food or coffee, which can feel intimidating. Instead of just pointing, use polite phrases. You could say, "Hi there, can I get a large coffee, please?" Or "I'd like a croissant, please." If unsure about the menu, ask, "Excuse me, what is the flat white?" Or "Does this have nuts?" If there's an error, politely say, "Oh, I think I ordered a latte. Would it be possible to switch?" Always end with "Thank you so much" or "Have a great day." Clear, polite phrases and a smile make these interactions much smoother.
That's a fantastic walkthrough. It really shows how a few simple phrases can make a big difference in those everyday interactions. So for our listeners who are feeling motivated right now, what's the best way to sustain this practice and keep building those real-life conversation skills on an ongoing basis?
Consistency is truly key. It's about small, regular doses of English. First, find a conversation partner. Many apps and online platforms are designed for language exchange. Even 15-20 minutes a few times a week can greatly impact. Second, integrate English into your daily routine. Change your phone language, listen to English music, read headlines. Every bit of exposure helps. Third, put yourself out there. If traveling, seize opportunities to speak English. Join online communities for topics you love, but in English. The more you use it, the more natural it becomes. Think of it like building a muscle. Consistent, short workouts yield the best results. Keep practicing, stay curious, and enjoy connecting.
That's excellent advice. To recap, we started by acknowledging that fear is a major barrier, but focusing on connection over perfection can really help. Then we talked about using small talk as social glue, asking open-ended questions, and the power of active listening and follow-up questions. We also covered expanding your fluency through chunking, immersion in media, shadowing, and intentional vocabulary building, always remembering to embrace those mistakes. Finally, we emphasized the importance of consistent practice, finding conversation partners, and integrating English into your daily life. It really sounds like with a few intentional steps and a shift in mindset, anyone can start to feel more confident and natural in real-life English conditions. Thank you so much for breaking all of this down for us. It's been incredibly helpful.
My pleasure. Remember, every conversation, no matter how brief or simple, is a step forward. Don't wait for perfection. Just start speaking. You've got this.